Sometimes when you're doing your pre-match planning, things just don't seem to add up. And so you've got to throw out the normal way that you would play against that particular style of play. And today we're going to look at a game that we played recently against West Ham, when things definitely did not add up, and how we used opposition instructions in conjunction with team instructions to nullify the threat that they had. But also to pose the question, is the AI smarter than we think it is? Because the AI at the end of the game made a very smart switch, which nearly cost me the game. Let's go and kick some balls. Hello and welcome back to FM with Old Man Phil. And if you're a brand new visitor, I'm Phil and welcome to the channel. And today we're going to be continuing in our series looking at in-game management, and specifically today how in-game management is not just about the 90 minutes on the pitch, but how you prepare for a game as well as then monitor how your plan is working throughout the 90 minutes. And in this game against West Ham, we're going to see how the plan worked for 75 minutes perfectly, but then a little bit of complacency on my part, and a very smart switch from the AI towards the end of the game nearly cost me the game. But before we go into what we did, the ins and outs, if you are brand new to the channel and you like FM content and you love to see people suffer playing this game, then why not hit that subscribe button, click the bell, because I do believe you are absolutely in the right place. And by doing that, you will be notified when we upload future videos. And while you're there clicking around, hit that like button, because likes and comments are so valuable to creators. They help the YouTube algorithm to push the video out to people who've not yet had a chance to see what we do on this channel. Okay, so now let's get into the match preparation for this game against West Ham. And so in the data hub, I was told that the West Ham were going to play in a wing play style, meaning that they were going to try and get outside my fullbacks, get crosses into the box, and be dangerous and be threatening in that way. However, on closer examination of the way that they were going to set up, I could see that they had two inside forwards up top, and they were playing with an inverted wing back on the right and an inverted fullback on the left. This suggested that when they were going forward, the inverted fullback would come and make a back three, while the inverted wing back would go into midfield on the right-hand side, thus freeing up space for Bowen, who is a very dangerous player in FM, on their right-hand side. I suspected then that they were going to play very narrow, they were going to be very dangerous, with both Elanga and Bowen coming across inside and creating chances from very narrow positions around the corners of my penalty area. On closer inspection on the passes that they made into the final third entry, this also seemed to suggest that a lot of the passes were going out to those wingers who were in very narrow positions. And so I was alert now that this was probably not going to be as reported wing play, but they were going to be playing very narrow, creating problems from those narrow positions. And so when setting up, what I decided to do was to close Bowen down. And so my wing back on the left, I decided to ask him to close down a little bit more. I did this in game because I always forget to reset it when out of game. And then what I did was I decided, against my better judgment, to push the line higher. I normally would have a standard line against wing play, but I decided to put pressure on their two inside forwards by pushing the line higher up. I decided just to allow Elanga to go up the left-hand side to show him onto his left foot. He was poor at crossing, and so my wing-back was instructed to close down less and just let him go outside and get crosses in, as I felt that we were not going to get any problems really if Elanga was allowed to go outside. And so in terms of team instructions, I know that Bowen is a very dangerous player in FM, so we decided to tight mark Bowen, and all we did with Elanga was show him onto his left foot, where he would have the freedom then to get up the touchline and put those crosses in. I didn't feel at all concerned about allowing him to do that. What I didn't want was him coming inside and taking shots from the corners of the area and also feeding in Bowen on the other side. I had decided to type mark James Ward-Prowse and Paqueta in midfield, as I always do, to prevent as much as possible them creating chances from the centre of midfield. So in essence, I'd really only targeted two players, Jarrod Bowen on the right and Elanga on the left, both of them to be treated in different ways. So as the game got underway, what I was actually looking for was whether or not they were going to be quickly getting the ball as forward to Bowen and Elanga. That was my focus. Were they going to play as I suspected? And as the game progressed, we got off to the better start. West Ham playing the ball around at the back, and we were allowing them to do that. We weren't counter-pressing. We were allowing them to just pass it around, look for the wingers. You can see they're looking for Elanga there, and we managed to intercept that. And we get an opportunity very early on. We get a chance going forward, but it was brilliantly taken by Arribas, comes inside, and the shot is blocked. We were doing very, very well. Again, they moved the ball out wide, and we were able to deal with that quite easily. We get another chance, and we're playing very well in the opening minutes. It's into the box. Arribas is on the far post and somehow manages to volley it in at the far post. We'd got off to a very good start, and sometimes that's an indication that the game plan is working. FM is rewarding you because your game plan actually seems to be working at this point in time. So West Ham again, passing it around at the back. We're trying to close down that midfield. They are looking to get it out wide. You can see that Bowen and Elanga are sitting fairly narrow. And it did seem to me that they were trying to get it out to the wide players. Elanga here does get away from his marker, cuts inside, frees Bowen up on the corner of the penalty area, but we managed to block that. I did suspect that they were going to be using the corners of the area, sitting very narrow. And you can see there from the graphic on the left-hand side that they are 100% down the right-hand side in terms of their attacking focus. They are trying to get the ball to Bowen. At the moment, our game plan is working, and we're not allowing that to happen. And again, we intercepted the ball at the back. We passed it around, creating chances ourselves. We are still in this game, and we create another opportunity. The ball goes into the box, and it's walloped in at the far post, and we are suddenly 2-0 up. And that is a real indication that my game plan was working perfectly. 20 minutes had gone. We were 2-0 up. West Ham, as you can see, 100% down the right-hand side. Elanga was coming across, trying to feed Bowen, but we were forcing Elanga outside, and so he was quite ineffective. Because we were closing Bowen down, he was also ineffective in the game. And just as I suspected, I could see they were sitting very narrow. And as the game moved on, West Ham came more and more into the game. They changed their style of play, and that's exactly what I wanted them to do. And as you saw there, they were trying to feed a ball down the middle. We intercepted it quite easily, and we are able to nullify the threat. They get another opportunity very shortly, when again they will come down the middle of the field. They're trying now to play through the middle, another wasted opportunity. We are, in essence, forcing them to play in a way they don't want to play. You can clearly see 40% now is down the middle, and they're not very good at playing down the middle. They want to play it out to Bowen and Elanga. And so they were, as they grew into the game, more and more being forced to play down the middle in a way that they didn't want to play. And once again, you can see Bowen picks up the ball. He's closed down very quickly, and we managed to take the ball off him. He's very ineffective out there on the right-hand side. They switch back again to going through the middle. This is nullified very quickly. They cannot get their advance forward free down the middle, and that is no problem for our defence to deal with. And then again, we close them down The midfield marking is working very well. Bowen's on the ball again, but he's closed down very quickly and we take the ball off him. They are trying desperately to get it to Bowen, and Bowen is very, very ineffective. In the second half, it continued very much in the same way. They tried to go down the middle, found they couldn't go down the middle. They were very wasteful down the middle, and they could not get Bowen and Elanga to play in the way that they wanted them to play. We, on the other hand, we were moving the ball around very successfully. We lost the ball there, and you can see they're trying to get it out as fast as possible to Bowen, but this time the fullback intercepts it again. And so they had tried to actually play across the field. They were trying to combine getting the ball out to their inside forwards. They were also trying down the middle, which they couldn't do. We'd completely nullified them as an attacking force. They continued to play the ball around. They continued to dominate the game, and we counter-attacked as best we could and made opportunities for ourselves. You can see again they're trying to get the ball out to the right-hand side. Bowen is closed down very quickly, and they have to reset and start again. And then there's a long ball down the middle. They can't get their advance forward free, but there is something that happens here. And I want to highlight where the inverted fullback is on the left-hand side, because suddenly there is a little change in the way that they are playing. I could see on the screen that they were now much more playing in a wing play style, which suddenly confused me. And looking at the position of the players, if we stop it here, we can see that the right wing back is now further up the field, and the left wing back is now not playing as an inverted fullback, he's playing as an inverted wing back. They've actually switched it over, and you could see that they are trying to release Elanga more down the left than they are with Bowen. Here he is again. That is not an inverted fullback. He's much higher up the pitch in midfield. He creates space for someone. Into the box it goes, and we concede a goal. I had failed to spot that they had actually switched things over, that now they were playing in a completely different style at the back. In thinking that they were now more capable of getting the ball behind us, I went into a low block, dropped the defensive line to stop them getting behind us, and was able to see out the game quite easily. And coming up very shortly, we can see that they get opportunities. They're passing the ball around again. They're trying to get Elanga free on that side. It can't be done. And if we look at the final positions of the inverted wingback, you can see he's much more in midfield on the left-hand side. They are now much more attacking, and they have a complete wingback on the right-hand side, looking to get outsiders, looking to create space on the left rather than to create space on the right. Because I was very slow noticing that during the game, and you saw that I switched it to extended highlights thinking the game was safe, I then had to go into a low block and just defend for dear life until we saw the game out. And did the AI make a change there that was quite smart, that almost outfoxed me? In the game that we played shortly after, 5 days later, we beat West Ham again by 1-0. This time very alert to the fact that the AI might make that very subtle change as we went through the game. They didn't this time. We didn't concede. And then later in the league, using the very same way of playing, closing down Bowen and making sure Elanga was ineffective on the left, we beat them again by 3-0. And so two things. We can combine opposition instructions as well as adjust the way that we normally play in order to target specific players within a team. I knew that Elanga and Bowen were the danger, and so we shut them out of the game, and West Ham were never in it. Except in game 1 and 3, where the AI made that very subtle change and changed their focus of attacks from the right to the left. But by the time I got to game 3, I was very alert to the fact that it might happen. And when they did, I was able to readjust what we were doing and then nullify the attack. We did not concede to West Ham for the rest of the season. And so finally, is the AI smarter than I thought it was? Well, possibly, because that was a very smart, subtle little change that it made, and we do have to be alert during gameplay. And that's it for this video. If you are brand new to the channel, why not hit that subscribe button and click the bell, and you'll be updated when we upload future videos. And while you're there clicking around, hit that like button, because likes and comments help the YouTube algorithm to push the video out to people who've not yet had a chance to see our channel. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you found it informative and that you might even give it a try. It seemed to work for me. And so all that remains to be said now is stay safe, take care. I'll see you in the next one.